Messi, how a poor boy became a GOAT. Lionel Messi is a World Cup winning legend. He's won everything there is to win in the beautiful game and is one of the biggest earning players in the world. His rise to the top has been tough, but how did Lionel Messi make it from poverty in Rosario through the Barca Academy to becoming the undisputed GOAT? We're going to look at his amazing story, the challenges and the setbacks which could have ended his career before it began. It's time to take a look at how Messi went from being a poor boy from a poor family to becoming the GOAT. Growing up. Messi was born in Rosario, Argentina on the 24th of June 1987 to parents George Messi and Celia Maria Cotticini. George was a humble factory worker who also coached kids football, while Celia worked in a manufacturing workshop. The Messi family didn't have a lot of money and times were tough. Sometimes they couldn't be sure where the next meal might come from because the wages in Argentina at the time were so low. It was clear from those early days that Messi loved football, and his parents tried as much as they could to help him develop his skills. It was tough though, because Messi often didn't have the best boots and he was sometimes hungry. George coached little Leo for a youth football club called Grandioli, where he first saw the potential his boy had. Messi later moved to Newell's Old Boys. He was doing well, but the older Messi got, the more the other kids around him seemed to grow bigger and bigger. Messi still remained small, and at around 10, it became clear that something wasn't quite right about this talented little guy. Over before it began. It was revealed that Messi had a growth hormone deficiency. It was something that, if left untreated, would have a negative effect on his life. This wasn't just a case of Messi not eating his greens. This was a hormone imbalance that couldn't be fixed with standard medicines and eating more veggies. Lionel was going to need treatments, very expensive treatments. His parents kept Messi involved in football as they didn't want him to just give up his dreams, but they didn't tell him the full extent of this problem that would have become a major issue in a few years. Messi was at a level with kids hitting their teens who were suddenly shooting up a foot taller than him with more muscle. How did Messi cope on the pitch? Well, this is probably what saved him. Although Messi looked like he was playing at an age level years above him, his skills still shone through, even though some of the coaches felt he'd still not make it because of his small stature. Although his opponents tried to bully him off the ball, his technique and dribbling skills were already amazing, enough to catch the eye of scouts from Barcelona. Suddenly, from the brink of his career-ending deficiency, there was hope. Enjoying the story so far? Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe and drop us a comment. Barcelona to the rescue. When all hope was lost, Barcelona showed a keen interest in Messi's impressive skill set. His parents didn't think there was a way out, knowing they couldn't afford the expensive treatments, but Leo was offered a place at Barca's academy. Better yet, the club promised to foot the bill for Messi's expensive treatments. Now there was hope, and Messi and his family moved to Spain, where things instantly became more comfortable. As a youngster in the academy, he wasn't earning big bucks, and the family took some time to adapt to the new surroundings. But at least he was being treated at the club and could ensure he had decent boots. Messi impressed for several years in the youth team, and by the time he finally made his debut, Messi was 5'7". Sure, he's not that big, but he was now the average height for an Argentine. His low centre of gravity and incredible close control were a perfect combination. Messi was owning his opponents at youth level. A first team breakthrough was inevitable, but Messi's journey to Goatsville could have been very different had it not been for the help of another icon. Ronaldinho saves Messi's career. Messi's size meant he had a lot of doubters over the years, from coaches to rival players, but when Messi was first being introduced to the first team squad, many of the senior players also had doubts about this kid. They thought he'd get knocked over too easily, and weren't impressed with a kid who still looked younger than his years. Messi was also very introverted. He was always a quiet kid, even though he was confident in his abilities on the pitch. Messi got into the first team setup at 17, but couldn't get into the cliques of the dressing room, and some of the senior players were frosty. Leo's shyness was beginning to alienate him, but one player saw the immense talent. One legendary baller knew a dribbling maestro when he saw one, and that was Ronaldinho. Dino took Messi under his wing, as he recognised that Messi could be the future of Barcelona. His talent was immense, and thanks to the club's star man looking out for him, the other senior squad members began to warm to Leo. Once he got on the pitch to play in big games, it was clear Ronaldinho was right. Messi becomes Barcelona's main man. Messi's debut on the 16th of October 2004 against Espanyol was the first of 9 appearances in his debut season. He was the youngest ever player to appear for Barcelona at the time. He was able to show brief glimpses of his quality, but it was enough for him to sign his first pro contract in June of 2005. Messi was going places and Barcelona still believed in their big investment. By the time the 2006-2007 season rolled around, Messi was solidifying his place in the team. He'd scored 8 in 25 games the previous season, but in the 2006-2007 season, he hit 17 goals in 36 games in all competitions. It was clear, this kid was special. No game in those early days showed his destiny quite as much as the hat-trick he scored in the El Clasico game against Real Madrid when Messi was still only 18. He hit an incredible run at the end of the season with 11 goals in 14 games. Despite a broken metatarsal setting him back, Messi continued to improve season upon season. Barcelona were a club who could buy stars like Eto'o, Ronaldinho, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Thierry Henry and more. Yet it was the young Messi who was the star. Just ask Eto'o and Ibrahimovic, who found it tough to settle in the side because the team was increasingly built around Messi. Zlatan in particular was shifted out to the wing to make way for Messi, who wanted to play through the middle, and he was forced out of the club. At Barcelona, Leo was notching up trophies left and right. He was also gaining world notoriety and catching the attention of the Ballon d'Or ceremony. In 2009, Messi won his first Ballon d'Or and would go on to win the trophy a record 7 times. His trophy haul at Barcelona was insane, winning La Liga 10 times. He also won the Champions League 4 times, including a memorable first against Manchester United, a side which included Cristiano Ronaldo. The intense rivalry. Every great player needs a rival, someone as good who pushes them to keep improving. Leo Messi was being earmarked in his early 20s as a potential all-time great, but there was another player hitting the big time with Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo was a different type of player, but one who was equally capable of producing incredible moments on the pitch. That rivalry intensified as Ronaldo left United to join Barcelona's arch-rivals Real Madrid. Now the two great talents of their generation were going to face off season after season, with both competing to win the La Liga, the Champions League and the Ballon d'Or. With every passing year they both improved, always fighting for the Golden Boot too. It was clear that these two were a whole other level. Since Ronaldo won the Ballon d'Or in 2008, the pair have won it a combined 12 times in 15 years. That is insane. Messi leads the way with 7 of those 12 wins though, which must burn Ronaldo. The pair have had a frosty relationship, and at the height of their rivalry you could see how much it burned Ronaldo especially. If Messi won La Liga, the Champions League, Golden Boot or the Ballon d'Or, and he didn't. But after all the growing debate, a definitive answer was going to be settled by the first man to win one particular trophy. But before that happened, Leo had a major turning point in his career, a heartbreaking exit. Barcelona exit. After so long at Barcelona, Messi was as much a part of the club as each stand in the stadium. He was the greatest player in their history, and he still felt like he had a great years ahead. But Barcelona were in a dire financial state and being targeted by financial fair play. Messi's contract was almost up, and they weren't going to be able to afford his wage demands unless he dropped them significantly. It was a difficult situation. Barca didn't want to pay up and Messi didn't want to drop his wages. In fact, it got so bad that Messi asked Gerard Piqué to take a wage cut so that he could stay, a request that led to them breaking up a long friendship. Messi had to leave, and PSG were one of only a handful of teams big enough or rich enough to afford him. Ronaldo had left La Liga a few years prior, and now Messi was off to Ligue 1. That major rivalry and intensity seemed to die down. At PSG, Messi struggled a lot. He was no longer the main man, hitting the turf of Kylian Mbappe. The league itself was deemed to be uncompetitive, with PSG all but guaranteed to win the league each year. So although Messi's 2 seasons at the club saw him win 2 league titles, the achievements didn't have the same razzle-dazzle as La Liga. Leading up to the 2022 Qatar World Cup, Ronaldo had finished a good season at Manchester United, but then found himself being kicked out of the club following his tell-all interview with Piers Morgan. Messi was starting to hit something like his best form for PSG though. He was on the up. It looked like their rivalry might reignite with Ronaldo at 37 and Messi at 35. about to go into their final chance of World Cup glory. Messi becomes the GOAT. Messi made his international debut in 2005, and as he got more important for Barcelona, he also quickly became Argentina's greatest hope since Diego Maradona. Every World Cup Messi went into carried a weight of expectation, but although he was scoring an insane amount of goals for Argentina, every World Cup and every Copa America saw his team fall a little bit short. Argentina lost 4 Copa finals with Messi, as well as losing the 2014 World Cup final against Germany, even though Messi's team were clear favourites. It changed when Argentina won the Copa in 2021, beating Brazil in the final. The signs were good, but Portugal, with a big help from Ronaldo, had also won Euro 2016 a few years earlier. With Qatar 2022 kicking off, it was now or never for Messi and his nemesis Ronaldo. Argentina started disastrously, losing to Saudi Arabia. Portugal and Ronaldo had a disastrous tournament altogether, getting knocked out early. Messi and his Argentina got through to the knockout stages and kept on going right to the final, where they met France. Now it was Mbappe versus Messi, and both men had pulled their nations to the final. Messi won that final battle with his PSG teammate, and he won the World Cup. It meant that he had another clear win over Ronaldo. Messi had won every major competition he'd been in, and the World Cup winners' medal was the final piece of the jigsaw. With that win, he was finally crowned the undisputed GOAT, and what a hell of a rise, from poor boy to the greatest player ever. Is Messi the GOAT? Drop us a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.